Hi there. Welcome back to the Real Film Chronicles podcast. As always, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Brian.
And in this week's very exciting episode, we're going to be looking at a little movie called Flight Risk.
Directed by Mel Gibson, starring Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Dockery, and Topher Grace. The movie we saw in 2.5 minute form in front of in trailer form. It covered a lot of ground that the movie pretty much had. Man, I don't know. This movie looked pretty iffy in preview form. I wasn't sure on it.
Yeah.
What were you feeling like leading up to this movie? Like, were you excited for this thing? Was this even... Why did you sit down and watch this?
Why are we here? What is our purpose? Why do things exist and why do they not exist? Yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct. If you saw the trailers for this, you saw the movie. I don't know why they do that. It's another example of this happening. We've seen it happen countless times where they spoil everything in the movie, everything from the movie in the trailer. I wasn't super stoked. The only reason I was stoked for this, and there's a big asterisk beside that as well, is because it was directed by Mel Gibson. Everyone probably understands what the asterisk is there for. I'm just gonna say, like, it's an exercise in separating out the art from the artist. But Mel Gibson, the director, mind you, he's a really amazing director, right? You look at his other directorial efforts, Braveheart, Apocalypto, Hacksaw Ridge. These are all in my mind pretty much 5-star, 4.5 out of 5 movies. Like, amazing. He's an amazing director, whatever all the other personal faults he has, and there are many. So, I was looking forward to Flight Plan just based on the directorial talent alone. And then you have, like, people who get down on Mark Wahlberg. I think he's always been a solid actor. Again, despite whatever his personal faults may be, and there are many. And I'm also a sucker I like to see Topher Grace show up. Partially, again, this is getting like a little bit kind of political here, I guess, or maybe there's some social commentary. But out of all that 70s show cast members, he seems to be the most well-adjusted.
Yeah,
and like I'm glad that we're still seeing Topher Grace get work, and that all the people who supported Danny Masterson and stuff are getting kind of cut out. I haven't seen a whole bunch from them. But it's nice to know that he seems like a really nice person in real life, good, like a decent human being, and he's getting work. So I was like, you know what? Whenever Topher Grace shows up, I'll put my money down.
that's pretty fair. And I feel like he takes some risks here and there. Like, he does interesting roles.
Like in Predators.
He may be the shining star of this movie.
Yeah.
But just return back on Mel Gibson films for a second. In my mind, I thought he directed a lot more than just these 5 films plus Flight Risk. He started out with The Man Without a Face,
right?
Which I have not seen. Then went on to Braveheart, multiple Oscars, okay. Followed by Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ, of course, yeah.
I still have not seen that one.
Nor have I.
Apocalypto, which, as I recall, is one that I'm always thinking I should go and revisit. But I never do.
As someone who recently rewatched it within the past, 3 or 4 months, yeah, you need to go and rewatch Apocalypto. It is an amazing movie, start to finish, 100%.
Yeah.
With the, again, asterisk, it is historical fan fiction. It is not historically accurate to any significant degree, but it's still a hell of a ride, right? Same as Braveheart. Braveheart is historical fan fiction. It's not accurate to any. It's not a history movie. It's a fantasy epic set in our real world, right?
And then we get Hacksaw Ridge, which I recall seeing. I don't think I even realized at the time that this was a Gibson movie, but he wasn't always like a director that I'm out there going to follow, because between movies was quite a while. Like, even between Braveheart and Passion of the Christ was quite a while. So his focus was never seemed to be directing, but he had quite a bit of success with it. And obviously, like you mentioned before, Mel Gibson is a problematic person. Lots of different controversies and issues that we're not going to delve into necessarily. There's a lot of troublesome issues, obviously, but you separate art from artist to a degree. I just want to say that I think he was basically blacklisted from Hollywood for about a decade or so. And during that time, like he was mostly acting, and even some of those movies there where he shows up and you're like, when you look you look at the letterbox list of like all his acting movies, you recognize movies, and then there's just like this void of weird stuff you've never seen or never heard of. Who knows what he was doing during that time? And then you start recognizing the movies again. It was kind of an interesting.
Yeah. That was the only reason my butt was in the seats, was just like, yeah, Mel Gibson was pretty much why I would watch this movie. You asked the question. It's like, why was I watching this movie? That's pretty much the only reason, because I was like, everything else about this looks super generic from the and I was like, that can't, like, in the trailers, that can't be the whole movie, right? Like, there's got to be more than that, and there was not.
And I'll just throw out, probably it goes without saying at this point, but we will talk about spoilers right from the beginning here. So if you're concerned about that, don't go watch the trailer for the movie for sure. But come back after you watch this and join our discussion. But yeah, the previews really did nothing for me. It looked like possibly a single location film, which can have its challenges, but also present some unique opportunities. And you think, well, in the trailer, maybe it looks like a single location movie, but halfway through they change it up and like something crazy happens. But Flight Risk kept it pretty safe. I don't even want to say safe. They kept it in that single location. We're in the cockpit of this small airplane for the entire duration of the movie.
Yeah, I'll say the only thing at risk in this movie was my attention. That was the only thing at risk of flight in this movie. It was like, it's gonna pull no
How
punches
many puns
here.
have you prearranged for this movie?
Yeah, they did not come in for a safe landing on this one. Yeah, but yeah, like, it was easily Mel Gibson's worst directorial effort. I mean, by a wide margin.
Yeah.
Like, I was going through, like, some of the leaps in logic and some of the stuff going on were just like I don't know, it was laughable. Like, I was literally laughing at certain scenes that were not meant to be funny. And just like, it always gets me, like, there's always going to be a willing suspension of disbelief where, like, these are characters in movies, and like, you're watching Ryan George's pitch meeting, his videos there, and it's like, why did the character do this? It's like, so the movie can happen. It's like, right, I get it. Sometimes people are flawed, they make suboptimal decisions, but there's a certain type of decision making where it's just like, it doesn't seem like a decision a real human being would make in that situation. And it just seems like there's several examples of this in this movie where it's like, this doesn't seem like a real human being would do this thing or say this thing in this situation. Not necessarily because it wasn't what I would do, but just like nothing, it didn't follow logically, right? It's like, I don't know, there's just some weird inconsistencies.
So, two things. One, a little more context for the movie. It was filmed in a relatively short amount of time for about $25 million budget. Okay. And box office wise, so far, when did this movie come out? Like January, maybe? I don't know. It's March right now at recording. It's made about $43 million worldwide. If that's a success or not, it's probably tough to say, but I just wanted to throw that out there as well. What is maybe the most egregious like issue for you in the movie that like challenged your suspension of disbelief, like beyond, like it broke through your barrier, so to speak?
I don't know. There was a couple issues. I think it's the problem. Like, Mark Wahlberg's villain seemed like way too over the top. Like, it's, and then like Topher Grace. Like, I love Topher Grace, and he was in. It's like all three characters were in their own movies, or all three actors were almost in their own movies, right? Like, tonally, like, Mark Wahlberg, he was doing his own thing. Topher Grace was doing his thing. And Topher Grace does his thing really well. Mark Wahlberg does his thing really well. Yeah, Michelle Dockery. I haven't seen her in much. I think she's I was looking it up, and she was like in Downton Abbey was her big thing. I think she was on the show for a while. She's British, I think. So like which I never picked up on. So amazing job with the accent. But she was playing it super serious. Topher Grace was joking it up, and Mark Wahlberg was Mark Wahlberging it up, I guess. I don't know. But like there was one scene where how they lost track of the knife, right? At the beginning, they had the big fight. The knife drops right in front of Topher Grace's character. and he doesn't say anything, doesn't pick it up. He just goes and sits down, doesn't tell her about the knife that's sitting there. And then, of course, the plane goes up at one point. It slides back to where, Marky Mark is tied up and he's able to get himself free. But it's like, I don't know, like all this kind of stuff. Or like she hits him in the head with, at one point, she knocks him out with the fire extinguisher. And she goes back up to the cockpit. She doesn't tie him up right away. I was like, he just escaped not 5 minutes ago after you beat the living crap out of him. And it's like, and he just seems to have like invincibility powers. Right? He got shot by the flare gun. He gets hit in the head, like full on with the fire extinguisher. I don't know.
I'm not trying to rebuttal these points here, but I do feel like
no rebut by all means.
They were not addressed in the movie, but I did figure it out. And the knife itself was one of the most egregious things for me because there is a little scuffle. The knife is lost and it ends up underneath the front seat. Okay. And they know the knife is there. They know, like, she was attacked by the knife. She doesn't try and find the knife. It's unknown where the knife is. The plane goes up. The knife slides all the way back. Marky Mark, as you say, Marky Mark picks it up secretly, and he's tied up in the back. You think he's going to use this. The knife never comes out again until he stabs Topher Grace. So Marky Mark basically gets Michelle Dockery in some kind of hold, and he ends up snaking her sunglasses.
Yeah.
And breaks the sunglasses apart and uses a sharp bit of that to break his bonds.
Yeah.
Right? The little leather that's holding his hands above his head. He's in possession of a knife on his body somewhere. Right. And I guess he can't get it to it where he needs to. And then the knife comes out when he attacks him like that. But I also agree, the fire extinguisher square to the top of the head probably should have killed at that point. Probably would have killed anybody.
Right there. He should be lost a couple IQ points from that one at least.
But they do show him he is tied up again to another thing, but we never get a scene because there's we don't get the scene of him being tied up again like we have in the past. But there is now, with the handcuffs, a degloving scene in the movie, which felt so like, oh my God, no thanks. I don't need to see that in this movie, please.
Yeah. Or here's the thing, right? So he came on board. He was pretending to be another pilot, right? So just to set the stage, right? So Michelle Dockery's character is what, FBI, CIA?
She's a U.S. Marshal.
What?
A U.S. Marshal.
U.S. Marshal. Okay, perfect. And she's escorting this dude, Topher Grace. What is this, like Winston? He was the accountant for some mob boss. He's gonna go and be a witness, star witness, and in exchange for his own immunity, whatever. And Mark Wahlberg's the assassin who was hired to kill him by the mob boss. And he gets on the plane. He takes over the pilots. They think he's the pilot who's going to take them to Anchorage and fly them down to Seattle, whatever. Right? Turns out he betrays them, attacks them. They tie him up. Both of them are sitting in the pilot's seat with their backs to him. Second time they get attacked. Again, both of them sitting in the pilot seat, backs to him. It's twice, 2 times. First time, sure, maybe you thought he couldn't get out. But like, you're a U.S. Marshal. You're not going to look in your rearview mirror a couple times just to take a look or say, hey, Topher Grace,
also establish that there is a rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Mark uses it throughout the beginning of the movie, but she, I guess, doesn't have access to the mirror anymore. It's really strange.
Or just like, hey, yeah, Topher Grace, you can sit up front like a big boy, but you just turn around and keep we can still talk while you're watching him. Just like, let me know if he's trying anything, and I'll go back and beat an unarmed prisoner again, as U.S. Marshals do, I guess. It's like, sure. It's like when she kept talking about, I know there's supposed to be like a redemption arc where she was like, she told her story about how she ended up at the desk and she got back in the field. But like all of her operational, I'll say, idiosyncrasies, they were right to put her at a desk. She was not meant to be a field agent. Like that character, she got her witness stabbed, and she got her boss killed by accusing her of being a conspirator with the mob boss. She's literally the worst U.S. Marshal ever.
I mean, do you think, because she does accuse her direct boss of being the mole, and then to the director who is actually the mole. And so, do you think they brought her out of desk duty because of her incompetence. Like they wanted her to screw up because they knew this guy, who I think is just called Dwayne. Marky Mark is called Dwayne, which is not his actual real name. I don't think we ever find out his real name, but she'd be an easy pushover to him, essentially. But do you think that her direct supervisor was also involved in this?
No. So I don't know. The movie's never clear, but like the whole thing is they uncover a conspiracy through very flimsy evidence and very poor deductive reasoning that happens to turn out to be correct. That there is a mole somewhere in the U.S. Marshal Service. She thinks it's her boss, her direct supervisor. So she gets a very hardworking secretary who needs to be paid more and who also needs to keep an eye on because she has access to all these different people and all this sensitive information. She gets to talk to her, like the director, and say, hey, my boss is the mole and everything. And she screws that up. So it could be that her boss was like, okay, I want to give you another chance. I think you're a good agent and, you had a mistake, put you back in the field. Or it could be that the director is like, hey, she's good. She's done her time on the desk, put her back in the field because then he could kind of blame, if anything went wrong, he's like, oh, we could blame operational incompetence because she has a history already, right? So it could be either way. I don't think they explore it in any real depth. But it was just, I don't know. Her deductive reasoning was like, it was a huge jump in line. She was only right because she was the main character, like it's like the reasoning she used to deduce who was the mole is like, you're just taking guesses. You're just guessing. It's like, oh, but my boss, no, it's this guy. No, it's this person. It's like, come on.
I also had an issue with the gun logic in the movie where she's basically ready to shoot him. By him, I mean Mark Wahlberg, Mark's character. And he's like, no,
she was going to shoot Mark Wahlberg.
You can't shoot me in the airplane because that bullet's going to pass through me. It's going to go through the airplane. It's going to hit a fuel line or something. Who knows what's going to hit?
Or it could ricochet, yeah.
Talking about this, I mean, this is classic foreshadowing, right? You're like, no, they never follow up on this. In fact, later on in the movie, he shoots directly at them and hits the whole control panel, the front of the plane, numerous times, and absolutely nothing is damaged. It does not affect their flight whatsoever. And it's like, why did they set that up early? Like, it's one of those things where you become acutely aware of when a movie, what is the mechanism there?
Chekhov's gun.
That's right. You show an item, you explain, the logic, and then you got to use it later, or else it's like
set up and pay off.
Payoff. And that's exactly what happened here. And that's also like, it was really strange.
It was lucky that little 3-seat plane had, that the pilot seat was made of Kevlar that stopped all those bullets. That was really handy that happened.
Honestly, I don't have much. As soon as that was happening, I'm like, you know what? It probably makes sense that the back of that seat is probably like solid metal, like a metal plate or something. That's my guess.
See, what I expected was, because like I didn't realize that the trailer is telling the whole story. What I thought there was going to be a back and forth where, we can't fly this plane or land it by ourselves, so we're going to need to trust this guy and let him out of his cuffs to fly the plane and land it for us with a gun to his head. But even with a gun to his head, is he going to land us where we're supposed to go? We're going to be like a game of cat and mouse. It's like, no, immediately she remembers that she has a satellite phone that she can just call home base. And there's an expert pilot or air traffic controller, and they get him to talk her through everything. And it's like, no, he can just, and at first I thought, it's going to be a trick. It's going to be the crime family had this guy planted and he's like bringing her to their own private airstrip. It's like, no, it was all in the up and up. He was the correct pilot. He was giving her the right instructions, and he got her to land the plane without needing any help from Mark Wahlberg at all. So they could have shot Mark Wahlberg and just had it be like a half-hour conversation between her and Topher Grace about what they're going to have for dinner when they land. There's no back and forth. There's no need. I don't know. It was so bizarre. Like I thought there's so many setups for like twists and turns and games of cat and mouse, and no, just whatever. We can land the plane, no problem.
There was definitely some opportunity there because once they reveal that, there's a mole in this U.S. Marshal office, like who knows who is on the take and who's not. And you're like, this guy who's helping him pilot and telling him, all right, you're going to head southwest until you hit, a coastline, if you're going to go this way.
Right.
Well, who knows if he's telling the truth?
Yeah, and she took it like she didn't question that dude one time. Like that pilot that she had on the call, he was charming as all hell. He was the real star of the show. I don't know who did that. I think there was a different voice than the actor showed up at the end. It was a really weird thing too. But like
that was the other really strange thing, which I did not. They had the voice actor who did the phone call, and then a different actor showing up at the end of the movie. Really strange decision. And I think even at the end of the movie, sorry, not at the end of the movie, the voice actor, you had someone like Leah Remini as her direct boss, right?
Yeah. I was looking for her because I saw her listed in the credits. Like, where is she showing up? It's like, oh, she was the voice on the phone. Okay.
But what a strange decision not to just have the same actor do that. And maybe I was thinking, well, maybe they like reshot some stuff and wanted to put him in at the end of the movie, and the voice actor wasn't available. So I also found his little victory dance to be really strange. She crash lands the plane. Okay. He comes out of this car or something. And instead of like the two of them, like not even like running towards each other, like they've developed a relationship already. They're going to go out for dinner, whatever. They stand about 30, 40 feet apart. And he just like jumps in the air and does like this victory dance. I'm like, what is this movie? And it's what you referred to earlier. The tone of every character is so different. Even Hassan at the end of the movie looks like he's in a totally different movie celebrating what just happened. Michelle Dockery, so serious. Mark Wahlberg, like whatever he's doing. Apparently he insisted on being bald. He actually shaved his head for the movie. Like he didn't want a bald cap. It didn't add anything to the character, really.
It looked like he shaved his head. It didn't look like natural, like he was naturally bald. Like
yeah.
Did they put any like makeup or anything on there afterwards, or touch it up digitally? Like I don't know. It looked like he was just.
And then you have Topher Grace, who is kind of silly and like he's being humorous, and every single character is acting like they're in a different movie or something, to the point where like when the movie only has 3 main actors on screen, when they're not matching, you really end up with an uneasy feeling as you're watching this. I don't know what I'm watching half the time. Apparently, this is the thing. This is all. When I say apparently, it's all like with a grain of salt because it's like IMDb trivia and like these Wikipedia references where it may or may not be true, but it's like they let Mark Wahlberg improvise on set quite a bit. And so a lot of the weird stuff he said was just him improvising. And maybe he should have kept to the script or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of weird kind of... He was making these weird kind of rapey jokes and like a lot of sexual assault jokes directed at Topher Grace. I was like, I don't know what... Is this trying to build the character out or something? I was like, I don't get it. Like it just seemed kind of superfluous. Right. And again, if you're going to show us like, okay, this guy's talking about like sexually assaulting, the 2 people on the plane, is like, then make it pay off or something. Make him like try to go for them. And it's like, oh, I'm going to sexually assault you. It was like, it just like he kept, I don't know. It was really weird, random nonsense he was saying. It was like almost like a kid in a schoolyard just saying really offensive nonsense, trying to insult somebody, right? It's like they're trying to think of the most offensive thing they could say just to like get a rise out of somebody, but it wasn't. But it was like a kid learned to swear for the first time or something, right? Like I don't know, it was really bizarre.
So there was one scene in particular that I think I might have actually verbally said out loud to myself, me and my cats watching this movie, that the movie lost me at this point, and it was when they got the mountain in front of them and they're going to run into it. So she's got to pull back on the stick, right? And this is, every plane movie has to have a scene like this.
Oh, yeah.
And it keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. And guess what? They do not make it. They actually collide with the mountain. And we cut to the other side of the mountain. And thank goodness, every bit they ran into was just a big snowdrift. And the plane blasted through. God only knows how many, how snow can get heavy, okay?
I don't think propellers work like that.
I don't think there was no damage to the plane whatsoever. Did not affect their flight at all. Running through a massive snowbank on top of a mountain. And I think at that point I said out loud, this movie has lost me completely. Like my suspension of disbelief is now gone. And I don't know anything about air travel or propellers or anything, but I know snow. It doesn't just it's not just like something you just plow through like that.
Yeah,
Wild.
that was
Wild
It
times.
didn't circle around to being so bad it's good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. It didn't have that feel. Like, I don't think this is going to live on to be some camp classic, like cult classic campy film or anything, right? I think this will just be completely forgotten. And honestly, if it came from a director that, didn't have so many issues, people would probably be more up in arms and maybe disappointed. Because when you follow up like Braveheart, Apocalypto, Passion of the Christ, all these award-winning movies, Hacksaw Ridge got a couple Oscars too, I think.
Yep.
With something like Flight Risk, you're like, damn, that sucks. But no, it's Mel Gibson, who we're like, whatever. We really don't care about this dude that much, and it's just a black mark on his filmography that makes you kind of curious. How did he direct such a short? Like I think it's barely 90 minutes long. I think the movie's listed at 91 minutes long, but there's about 6 or 7 minutes of credits on the movie. So it's really more like an hour 20.
He does usually tend to go for like the more epic.
Yeah.
I wonder if on the back end there was some wrestling for creative control between Mel Gibson and the studio, maybe, because that ending felt like it was super sudden, right? It's like it felt like the movie just like comically so, like it ended, and like and how it ended was just like
it was so tropey.
It was I was scratching my head. I was like looking up and like, this is a fake out, right? They're halfway through the credits. They're going to end the credits and be like, carry on with the rest of the movie, right? It's like, there's, no, it just ended like that. And it's like, okay, I guess that's certainly a choice.
Now, you mentioned Topher Grace being pretty decent. Were there any other elements of the movie that stood out as like good or halfway decent? Like what?
Well, I mentioned
what positive things can we say about this film?
I'm probably mispronouncing the name, Maz Ali, who did the voice of Hassan. I thought that was really, a really cool take. It was like, guy comes on, he's super relaxed. He's kind of flirting with Madeline a little bit, but I think it's like he's breaking the tension, right? He's got he's obviously dealt with emergency situations before. It's like the most important thing to do, stay calm, diffuse all that anxiety and that stress. And it's like, yeah, hey, once you're done, let's go for dinner. And she's like, what?
It belongs in that like realm of cinema where it's like smart people, talented people doing really well at their job. And this guy, like you said, clearly has dealt with scenarios of like high pressure, and he's doing what he does best. And we're actually sitting there in awe of him. And like, we see how he works. You're like, damn, that's pretty solid work, man.
And even when she says stuff and he's clearly, like that's should be raising the alarm bells. Like, oh yeah, the fuel's really low. It's like, huh? She's like, what? Nothing. It's like, hey, no problem. I think you're going to make it. I'm going to check back in. Like, don't worry about it. Call me back in like 20 minutes when you see Anchorage. And he's like, he's not playing games with her or anything. It's like, yeah, I think like that was really nice. And it was like that worked for me. Like that kind of stuff worked. I think, was it Michelle Dockery? Yeah. I think she was great in this, right? For what she was given, she did a really good job.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I won't say that the character was great, but I want to see her more stuff. It's also nice to see somebody our age kicking butt. It's always reassuring. I took a look at her birth date on IMDb. She was born the same year we were, so
there you go.
I was like, yeah, she's in there still, beating unarmed prisoners. So like, there's hope for us to do the same. It's like, I want to beat an unarmed hostage someday.
Even after riding a desk job for like who knows how many years, you can still go out there and kick some butt.
Breaking some law, breaking citizens' rights. Yeah. Good times. Join the U.S. Marshals, beat some innocent prisoners.
I was reading the Wikipedia synopsis, and when they were recounting her story of how her original witness died, but like in the Molotov cocktail, and she let them be unsupervised. And I think the line in the Wikipedia article was that she forgot about her witness. And I was like, I did not get that impression at all. It's just, there's a fire and you're really kind of helpless unless you're a firefighter fully, kitted out to go in there.
I think forgot in the sense that in the heat of the moment, forgive the pun, Molotov cocktail comes to the window, explodes, sets the place on fire. Your first instinct as a human being, survival instinct, she turns and runs, forgetting that she had broken protocol, realizing that the witness was still in there, then going back and seeing that she was so that's the whole thing. If you keep protocol, you don't have to remember what you did because it's always the same thing every time. Same reason we have processes at any job. So she broke the process, and then so she, in the sense that her survival instinct kicked in, she quote unquote forgot, but she didn't. It's not like she forgot that she had a prisoner she was guarding, right? So yeah, maybe the Wikipedia wording could be bumped up. So just change the Wikipedia article there, Brian, when you get a chance.
Put in a section for ways to improve this movie, perhaps.
Also, okay, I'm not a pilot, so I don't know what I'm talking about here, but when they kept saying like the plane was on autopilot. So I expect autopilot, plane is flying, whatever, if it's level, it's going to fly straight. But there were scenes where it was on autopilot, where it was clearly like banking or like pulling up. So it was like clearly they'd gotten like stock images or stock shots of like the plane doing stuff and intercut it with them like where we're supposed to be on autopilot, which would be them like flying whatever. But you could see it was like veering up or kind of banking a little bit. It was like, is that how autopilot works? Like it's like the autopilot from Airplane, where like the inflatable doll comes up and he starts steering it himself. I'm like, I don't think that's how autopilot works, but it was just kind of
how many cockpits of airplanes have you been in? Who knows?
You ever been in a Turkish prison?
That does actually remind me of the autopilot. Earlier in the movie, Mark Wahlberg is flying this plane, and he's obviously got on autopilot because he gets up out of his seat. He attacks Michelle Dockery's character. He is now out of his seat, going into the back and terrorizing Topher Grace, right? And I think Michelle wakes up, and there's a fight.
Oh, I forgot about this.
They fall back onto the control stick, and now their plane is immediately at a nosedive. I thought they were on autopilot, and the stick is disabled at that point. But you know what? My logic would just be like, well, if he fell on the control panel, they hit all the buttons on there and disabled the autopilot or something. But still, if that scene was also like, this might be awful CGI of this plane flying through, like they had this thing clipping through trees or something. I don't know. It just did not look good. And it was also just that trope again. We're going to put the plane into a complete nosedive directly at the ground, and what they're showing outside the window, there's no way they come out of that thing alive.
Yeah.
But she managed to pull through.
And I think, there's a certain point at which when they pull up, right, they always show it pulling up at such a huge angle, which I think would stall the plane, like that much of an angle. Also, yeah, that's the other thing that showed that Mark Wahlberg's character had cheat codes installed. He got like a taser to the neck for a good 45 seconds.
It was so long. Yes.
I was just like, he's like, his brain is fried, or he's having a heart attack, or he swallowed his own tongue or something like this. Like nobody's surviving that. Like people have died from just getting like the regular taser, like the police with their tasers, and they shoot the two little prongs into you. People have died from that, disrupting their heart rhythm. You got a taser to the goddamn neck for better part of a minute, because it kept cutting back and forth. It cut back to them going down, and cut back to her like still sticking in there. Like, so he did have his character did have cheat codes enabled in this story. Like that was just. It was one of those bosses I hate. He's like a bullet sponge, right? It's like just the worst kind of boss when you're playing video games. Like just no strategies, just like eats all your bullets. Like, that's no fun. Not a very fun boss.
That was pretty much all my main notes on the movie. Like it did go by pretty quickly, and I made sure to pay attention to this movie. I had a friend who he did not recommend this movie. He told me to watch this movie and said it was awful. There's no need to watch it. But then like a week later, I think it was like, no, you should probably share in like the horror of this movie. And then when you said, yeah, I watched this, let's check it out. And it's like, all right, we got a podcast episode now. I don't necessarily regret watching this movie, but man, it was pretty rough.
I just want to confirm that you were saying what I was saying. It wasn't like a drug-induced hallucination that I was witnessing. Wasn't some kind of fever dream. It was like, okay, you're literally seeing these things happen on screen, right?
Well, sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, man, that was a huge pile of garbage. And then you go online and people are giving it like 4.5, 5 stars. It's like, what? Did I watch the wrong movie? Like, what happened here? But no, we have multiple people saying this is not great. But if you don't have anything else to add, we can get into our ratings, our actual numbers on this movie.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do some numbers.
First, let's play the game everyone loves. Guess the ratings around the internet.
Oh,
And
I thought it was going to be Hungry Hungry Hippos.
oh
Man,
we'll just insert Hungry Hungry Hippos noises here for the next minute. Lose all viewers. I actually did do my guesses before, so I have my legit guesses, and I can play along here.
too legit to quit.
So first up, we talk about Rotten Tomato critic rating. They use some bonkers scale, the percent of critics that were in favor of or reviewed the movie favorably. What is the Rotten Tomato critic rating, do you think, on Flight Risk?
Critic rating, 19%.
19? I guessed 16%.
Okay.
The actual critic rating, as it stands today, is 29%.
Okay.
Wow.
Higher than I thought.
I thought that was way too high. Audience rating, same kind of thing. What percent of audience were favorable for this film?
I'm going to go 43%.
43? I guess 54%.
Okay.
The actual answer is 62%.
Okay.
I do think people show up for Mark Wahlberg, and I think people really do like him.
Well, you know what? Like, yeah, like, I don't know. There's this kind of common trope to hate on Mark Wahlberg's acting, but I've always thought he was a decent actor, right? It's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know where people are coming from. Like, you can not like him as a person, but as an actor, like, I thought he was always solid. Like, I don't know what people's problems are with his acting.
Agree to disagree on his
You should see Brian's face. That's amazing. He's like, look like he just like eating a lemon. He's like,
we got to enable video on this podcast sometime. It's and all the advertising is him. Like all the posters are his face. There's one poster. It's very action oriented. He's holding a gun in one hand. Like he is ready to take on the world. And it doesn't hint to you at all that he might be a bad guy, but the trailer definitely gives away that plot point.
it does indeed. Yeah.
Next up is IMDb. Their users have a 10-point system. What do you think the IMDb user average is on this?
2.3.
2.3 out of 10.
Sure.
All right. I guess 5.2.
Okay.
And the actual one is 5.3.
Okay.
2.3 is pretty low.
I thought people would be harsher on this movie. I don't know.
Now, Letterboxd, this is where you can find our profiles and all the movies we rate. Use the 5-star system. What do you think the Letterboxd average user review is?
Let's see. Okay, I've been going too low on these, so I don't know. I'll stick with my 2.3 for this one as well.
All right. I guess 2.2.
Okay.
And the average right now is 2.0.
Okay.
So
I'm completely off on this one. This one, it's thrown off my spiders. It's got me questioning whether if I even watched movies before. Do I even know what a movie is? I don't know.
it's one of those things like, I don't know. You can pay attention to critic ratings, audience ratings. So I usually try and stay away from them before going into a movie. I'd prefer to like the way I use Letterboxd for a movie I haven't seen yet. I try to avoid the actual average, but I will look at 2 or 3 users who I follow, and if they have a written review, I want to read like the first few lines, first paragraph of the review, and sort of get an idea of what they're thinking. But this one, I don't know. So we got to get into our ratings here. What is your 5-star review? Now just to reiterate, we use the Letterboxd 5-star system, which also allows for a like, which I don't suspect is going to come out for this movie based on our discussion. But what is your 5-star review of Flight Risk?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to come down at a 2 out of 5 stars on this one.
2 out of 5.
I think I had it initially put in 2.5 out of 5, but then talking through this, I was like,
brought down a bit.
I think you talked me down here, Brian. Back down to 2. I think. What's your rating on this one?
I am going to go in at 1.5 stars, 1.5.
Yeah,
I think there were too many like egregious plot things that normally I could look past, but on such a short runtime movie, and maybe also that I was like paying full attention to the movie throughout, really like, which is awful to say. It's like sometimes that second screen just takes over a little bit and you miss details. You're like, well, whatever. But I'm paying attention. It's like I notice all these little issues with the movie, and I couldn't get over the total difference about what the movie was. Was it a comedy? Was it this action movie? Was it a dark, character study? Like what? Everyone was different, and it was really unsettling.
I had a really hard time rating this thing, and like talking through with you again, I was just like, I don't even. It was the 2 stars I got was for the acting. All the actors were good, and there was some competence in the filmmaking. But like as we were talking through it again, it's like none of this makes a lick of sense.
Yeah,
and it's just like it was falling apart more. It's like some movies get better when you think about them afterwards, and this one is like, I'm gonna say flight risk does not hold up to scrutiny. We'll say that. We'll put
doesn't
it that
pass inspection.
Yeah, this flight's been delayed indefinitely, I think.
So you won't be taking this flight again, is what you're saying?
I think I'm switching airlines for sure.
Oh my god. That was our episode on flight risk. Check it out or not. I mean,
this would be, if you're gonna watch, I would never condone this, of course, to our listeners, but if you were going to partake of certain substances before watching a movie, this would be a great movie to do that with. We'll put it that way. I think that's the only way that you're gonna get true enjoyment.
Sounds pretty fair. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us today and taking the time to listen to our podcast. You can find us online over at realfilmchronicles.com, where we have not just a repository of podcast episodes, but many of our written reviews as well. If you're up to it, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram as well. All the links should be within the show notes here. So until next time, take care of yourself and others, and be sure to enjoy your film journey.